What's up guys, it's Tom here and welcome to a brand new Liverpool transfer news video. And what is going on with Liverpool and the transfer window? Because France Football is reporting that Liverpool had a bid accepted by Watford for Ismaila Sarr, and the bid is around £30 million. And if we sign Ismaila Sarr after signing Diogo Jota and Thiago and Tsimikas, this could be the best ever transfer window in Liverpool's history. And I can only see this happening if both Divock Origi and Brewster and also Harry Wilson and Marco Grujic and Karius leaves the club. Those 5 players could fetch around £70 million in total, and that money could be straight away reinvested into the Liverpool squad. And I think it's debatable whether Ismaila Sarr is a better option than Divock Origi, but I think Origi, we are seeing that he has this ceiling that he probably won't get much better, but Ismaila Sarr is definitely a prospect. He scored 2 goals and got an assist when Watford destroyed Liverpool 3-0 in last season's Premier League game, which took Liverpool's unbeaten run away. And so guys, if you are excited about this transfer news, leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already. Half of you guys watching this are not subscribed, and the daily FIFA videos, the daily Liverpool career with uploads are back from today until FIFA 21 comes out. I'm so excited to continue that series. I already have an episode uploaded waiting to be published, so later today it will be published for you guys' enjoyment. And now let's listen to the report. Would you welcome Ismaila Sarr, or is it like one too many signing? Should we go in for a centre back instead? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. I would love to hear them. So France Football report that the situation of a Watford winger who is just 22 years old is going to be a hot topic in the coming days, because Sarr has been offered to both Everton and Manchester United, but it is Liverpool who have been most pressingly after Ismaila Sarr, inviting his agents to a meeting a bit more than a week ago. And Jurgen Klopp wants to give his squad even more attacking depth in the event of injuries to Sadio Mane, Salah and Firmino. The only problem with Ismaila Sarr is that he is also from Africa, so he will be away for the Africa Cup of Nations next season alongside Salah and Mane. So it's not the perfect situation, but we have Diogo Jota, we have Firmino and Minamino for that scenario. And what is actually shocking to me is that France Football is claiming that an agreement has been found between Liverpool and Watford, which is worth around 35 to 40 million euros with add-ons, which is around 30 to 35 million pounds. And Liverpool have offered the Sarr between 6 and 7 million euros per year gross wages, according to a source close to the situation. But France Football also claims that Aston Villa have entered the race and they want to outbid Liverpool, and also they want to offer Ismaila Sarr a nailed-on starting position at Aston Villa. But I think if Liverpool are in for Ismaila Sarr, he will choose Liverpool 100%, because Sadio Mane is a good friend of him. They both play for the Senegal national team, and Sadio Mane always talked about Ismaila Sarr like his little brother. And even though some journalists claimed that the signing of Diogo Jota is the last piece of business when it comes to Liverpool and incoming transfers, you can't really trust Liverpool-based journalists. They know nothing nowadays, because Liverpool have been so tight-lipped. Even on the morning of signing Thiago, the Liverpool-based journalist said that Liverpool are interested in Thiago, but no talks have taken place, no bid has been submitted. And then later that day, Thiago was announced as a Liverpool player. I would believe reports coming outside of Liverpool more, because sources, according to France Football, say that the arrival of Jota does not necessarily mean that they are no longer interested in signing Ismaila Sarr as well. They have also been contacts established between Jurgen Klopp and Barcelona over Ousmane Dembele, and taking him on a season-long loan and just to see how he would fit into Liverpool squad. I think that would be the cheaper option, of course, but Ismaila Sarr is such an exciting player, and I would love to see him at Liverpool. And maybe Liverpool want to sign players right now to supplement the forward line, and because we have such a tight, congested schedule this season, Jurgen Klopp will want to rotate his team more, and maybe that's why we are so active in the transfer market, signing so many forwards. I mean, Diogo Jota and Ismaila Sarr to add to the forward line of Liverpool, and last January signed Minamino. So that's 3 forwards signed potentially in 2 transfer windows. That's super exciting, and maybe Jurgen Klopp wants to bring in the next generation of Liverpool attackers, and maybe that means that Divock Origi and Brewster will be sold, but I think Ismaila Sarr would be a better player long term for Liverpool than Divock Origi, certainly with a higher potential ceiling. So at first, when I heard this report, I thought surely this is coming before the Diogo Jota transfer move was finished, because I've seen Liverpool being linked with Ismaila Sarr. But when I actually read the actual report of France Football, in the report it says that they are aware of Diogo Jota's transfer move. So this comes after Diogo Jota has been officially unveiled as a Liverpool player, which just makes it all the more interesting and all the more curious. Do you think that Liverpool would sign both Diogo Jota and Ismaila Sarr in the same transfer window? The only way I can see that happening is that if Liverpool really want to refresh their squad, and if the likes of Harry Wilson, Grujic, Divock Origi, that's the big one. I think if Origi leaves and Ismaila Sarr comes in, then I can see that basically swapping out Origi for Ismaila Sarr makes a lot of sense. If you are looking at it long term, Origi is 25 years old. He's a club legend. I think he will be forever in the Liverpool history books. But Ismaila Sarr is a more explosive player who can play on the wing, and Liverpool don't really need more out-and-out strikers in their squad. We have Minamino and Firmino who can play up front. And yes, Divock Origi is also good up front, but he's not great. And even Salah and Mane have played up front for Liverpool. So when Firmino needs a rest, Salah or Mane could play in the number 9's position, and Ismaila Sarr and Diogo Jota could play on either side of them. That's a hypothetical situation as well. So let me know what you think about this report, because I think this is very, very interesting. And what is also interesting is that according to Spanish outlet Cadena Ser, Barcelona tried to hijack Thiago's move to Liverpool in the last minute. Sporting director Javier Bordas met with Thiago, but Thiago informed him that he had already his heart set on a move to Liverpool after being sold the Liverpool dream by Jurgen Klopp. Oh wow, that is brilliant. I mean, can you imagine Thiago sitting down with a Barcelona representative and him trying to convince Thiago to move to Barcelona, and Thiago sitting there on the table, and all he can think of is that we beat your team 8-2 in the Champions League. 8 with Messi in your team. Why would I want to move to your club when I can move to Liverpool, the Premier League champions, former European champions as well? There was just no context. Liverpool is so much more attractive than Barcelona, and that's testament to Jurgen Klopp, to the players, to everybody who worked so hard to make Liverpool this absolute juggernaut, strongest team in the Premier League, one of the strongest teams in Europe. And for Thiago, world-class midfielder, to choose Liverpool is absolutely fantastic, and it's thanks to what Jurgen Klopp has done in the past five years with this football club. Amazing stuff. And there was a third transfer target before we signed Diogo Jota. James Spears, who is a Liverpool-based journalist, claimed that we have been interested in a Canadian star, Jonathan David, who is the most talented Canadian player of his generation, alongside Alphonso Davies, who of course won the Champions League with Bayern Munich. Because James Spears said that before he signed for Lille, Liverpool could have signed him. David primarily operates as an attacking midfielder, but he can play out wide and he can play as a centre forward. He's a very versatile player. It remains to be seen just how interested Liverpool were in Jonathan David, but the fact that he's just 20 years old, and if he develops well for Lille, who he's just signed for from Ghent, coming from the Belgium league, this is a player that we need to keep an eye on. If he tears up the French league, scores like 15-20 goals in the next 2 seasons, Liverpool might be interested in him once again. David moved for a fee of around 27 million euros, which is around 24 million pounds, which is quite a bit of money, but his ceiling is, I think, much higher. He scored 23 goals in just 40 Belgian top flight appearances last season. So it seems that Lille has a real talent. They have a real talent on their hands, and they will be very, very strong for the upcoming season. Lille sold Osimhen to Napoli, so they needed a replacement, and Jonathan David could be the perfect replacement for Osimhen. So I'm definitely watching Lille highlights this season just to watch out for Jonathan David and how he performs. And the fact that Thiago was substituted in for Klopp captain Jordan Henderson without even training with the Liverpool first team. So he's a brand new player, but he's so good, he's so world class that Jurgen Klopp basically just said this after the game. We decided for Thiago because even without training, he's the perfect player for this situation. Alisson saves the penalty, Thiago debut. If Henderson is not hurt, then it is perfect. Henderson had just felt a little bit of discomfort at halftime, so he was substituted as a precaution. And for Thiago to come in against one of the strongest teams in the Premier League, Chelsea, who just spent 250 million without even training. I mean, Jurgen Klopp wouldn't put in anybody else, I think, without training into such a big game. But Thiago is such a world-class player that he can slot into any team. And I'm sure that Thiago will have a lot harder test coming his way, but this was the perfect game to bed Thiago in and to get him used to playing in Liverpool, in a Liverpool system. And we shouldn't expect too much from Thiago too soon, but I think he will be an immense transfer for Liverpool. And also we got bad news because the British government decided to not go ahead with their plan to allow some fans into stadiums from October the 1st. I even heard that the Sheffield United game at Anfield, which was in early October, would have had 12 to 13,000 Liverpool fans being allowed back into the stadium. But now the Cabinet Office Minister Michael Gove explained how mistakes made earlier this year will influence the decision. It was the case that we were looking at a stage program of more people returning to sports venues from October the 1st. It wasn't going to be the case that we were to have stadiums thronged with fans. We are looking at how we can, for the moment, pause that program. What we do want to do is make sure that as and when circumstances allow, we are able to get more people back. The virus is less likely to spread outdoors than indoors, but again, it's in the nature of major sporting events that there's a lot of mingling. Why? I'm going to go on a rant, guys, but why on earth are you allowed to go into pubs and to basically mingle with your mates, drink together in a closed environment when you are not allowed to go to football stadiums, which is open, pubs are closed, everybody is breathing the same air, the disease can spread a lot faster, a lot more quickly that way. Just ban pubs and bars and restaurants indoors and just allow fans in a socially distanced way. I mean, France and Spain have worse situations than the Great Britain. For example, the France government allowed some fans back into stadiums. They are just sitting separately, three rows, I think, 3 chairs apart, and that's fine that way because they are in open air. But I just don't understand, because this will kill lower league clubs. Many lower league clubs will go bankrupt and they will go out of business and they will vanish, disappear because of this decision. If they don't allow fans back this year, then the lower league clubs as we know it, the whole football pyramid could collapse. So that's why I'm really upset and really angry about that. These rules in isolation make sense, but combine that with the other rules that you can allow to go into pubs. You can meet with as many people as you want in pubs. You can only have a meeting of 6 people in the same house. You are not allowed to meet your grandma or your grandpa, but you are allowed to go into pubs where you can meet 20-30 people it's just mind-blowing. Like, who makes these decisions? There is no scientific reasoning behind it. It's just so dumb, so stupid, and no wonder many people are very upset about this, because it just doesn't make any sense to me. But let me know what you think about that. And I'm really excited for Thursday League Cup game, where Lincoln will host Liverpool, and the predicted starting lineup is quite interesting. I think Adrian will start in goal, obviously. We will have Neco Williams, the second choice right back, to start. We will have probably Billy Kumatio and Tsimikas to start, and also Van Dijk looks like the only other fit centre-back at Liverpool. Joe Gomez and Matip are both out injured, and I don't think Jurgen Klopp will risk them, because we need them probably against Arsenal. Maybe instead of Van Dijk we could play Nathaniel Phillips or Vandenberg, but I'm not sure how ready they are fitness-wise. And then in midfield we could have Thiago, Curtis Jones and Naby Keita. What an exciting midfield that could be. And up front we could have Minamino, Diogo Jota, and either Divock Origi or Harvey Elliott, depending on whether we want to sell Origi or not. If we want to sell Origi, then he won't play. So I think that will be very telling. Minamino, Diogo Jota and Harvey Elliott looks a very exciting front line with a lot of pace, a lot of trickery. So I'm just really excited to see what we can do. Lincoln City are doing very well in League One. I think they did back-to-back promotions, so they came through from the Conference to League Two and straight away to League One, and they started off the season on fire. They won 4-0 recently, so we have to be very serious about this game if we want to go through, because Lincoln, this will be their cup final, their game of the season. And I really hope that you guys enjoyed this Liverpool video. It was a lot of fun to make. Remember, a new Liverpool career mode is dropping later tonight, so stay tuned for that. See you later, guys. Goodbye.